My name is Griffon H., and my topic for my inquiry project is Antiques from the Tea-Horse Road. In order to understand my project, you have to understand what the Microcampus program is. It is a program where 11 to 16 8th grade students come to a town called Shizhou for a month. We do two main projects, service learning and an inquiry project. Service learning is where we find an elderly person and we learn about their life. Then we make a video about them and we present it to them. Our inquiry project is where we study a topic of personal interest to learn about the topic. My topic that I chose is Antiques from the Tea-Horse Road. I am interested in this topic because both antiques and the Tea-Horse Road are interesting, so I chose to morph them together into one topic. My thesis statement is, to learn about the artifacts that are connected to the Tea-Horse Road, one has to understand the artifacts that the riders on the Tea-Horse Road used, the artifacts that are connected to regional trade, and the artifacts that are connected to foreign trade. I'm going to talk about some of the equipment that riders of the Tea-Horse Road used. The Tea-Horse Road was not really a road, but instead it was a rough trail that people rode horses on. Because of this, people had to have good equipment to support them on their journeys. There are many types of equipment, but the most common types of equipment that I found are horse-related equipment and food-related equipment. There are many types of equipment for horses, but there are mainly a lot of saddles, lead ropes, reins, and horse bells. Saddles were very important on the Tea-Horse Road because they either gave you a very comfortable journey or a very uncomfortable journey. Saddles also showed how wealthy you were by how elaborate they were. For example, the saddle in this picture probably belonged to the wife of a wealthy businessman. Horse ropes and reins were also very important so that you could control where you go. There are many types of equipment that riders used. The most common type of equipment is equipment to help you eat. There are two types of eating equipment that are particularly common, knives and chopsticks, and then finally bowl holders. Knives and chopsticks are needed to eat food cleanly, so riders on the Tea-Horse Road had both of them in a sheath. The other type of eating equipment is bowl holders, and they were so you could hold a bowl of rice at your waist, and they are also used to keep the rice warm. There are many artifacts connected to regional trade, which is not surprising considering that the Tea-Horse Road was a mostly Chinese trade route, as it mainly went through Yunnan to Tibet, then to Sichuan, and then finally to the rest of China. The reason it is called the Tea-Horse Road is because historically tea was traded from Sichuan and Yunnan for horses from Tibet. Because of this, there's many horse and tea-related antiques that do not come from the local region. As I previously said, there are lots of horse-related items, namely equipment. As I said before, the equipment is necessary to ride a horse. So when people in Dali and Shizhou traded for horses from Tibet, they probably purchased horse equipment such as saddles and ropes so that they could actually use the horse. There are also many tea-related items from the Tea-Horse Road. One very common item that I found is teapots. At Mr. Ju's antique shop, I noticed a large amount of bronze teapots from places outside of Dali and Yunnan. I asked about these and found out that they came from the tea trade on the Tea-Horse Road. The tea trade has impacted Shizhou because now that everyone had and still has easy access to tea, people highly enjoy the beverage. While I was looking at antiques, I was surprised to find that there are a lot of antiques that are from Britain and the USA. After inquiring more about this, I learned that the Tea-Horse Road connected to ports such as Hong Kong and Shanghai, and that the Tea-Horse Road was a major connection from those ports, among others, to the rest of China. Because of all this foreign trade, major families such as the Yan family became very, very wealthy from the trade. In fact, people in Shizhou became so wealthy that Shizhou was called Little Shanghai because of all the wealth that people had. As I remarked before, there is a large amount of trade with the British and there are many antiques to support this. One main type of antique that I found that tells us about trade with the British is opium pipes. The opium trade with the British happened because of the Opium Wars. They were wars where Britain attacked China to get more trading rights and colonies. And the main trading right that they wanted was the right to trade opium, which is a highly addictive drug. And opium pipes that I found at the antique shops here from Shizhou are evidence that the British were able to trade their opium and the pipes that go along with opium along the Tea-Horse Road. As I mentioned before, there is lots of evidence of there being American trade along the Tea-Horse Road. Some of this evidence is the fact that there are many American coins and lanterns traded from the U.S. This means that the Americans were able to trade their goods along the Tea-Horse Road. More evidence is from the Yan family museum. It said that the Yan family had depots in places like Shanghai and Hong Kong, and even they had one in Boston, which is quite surprising. But so these depots would pick up supplies from foreigners that they'd trade, and then they'd bring all these supplies, such as coins and lanterns and so on, into the rest of China, especially Yunnan and Shizhou, which is where the Yan family operated from. Now we are at the end of this video, so I'll quickly say a quick summary and then I'll tell you what I learned. So, we learned that the Tea-Horse Road was a rough trail for which riders needed special equipment to survive. We also learned that there is a lot of regional trade of horses and tea on the Tea-Horse Road. Finally, we learned that there is lots of foreign trade from Britain and the USA on the Tea-Horse Road. Things I learned is that each and every single place has a very interesting story behind it. I also learned that antique shops are fascinating places with many stories in the antiques. The third thing that I learned is that Shizhou is much better connected to the outside world 100 or so years ago than I realized due to the fact that the Tea-Horse Road ran through this valley. I hope that you have enjoyed my final product. Goodbye.